Hello there, Gemini, and welcome to your November reading. I hope that this month is getting off to a spectacular start for everybody. And I know that we're in the midst of a retrograde period. This may make some of you feel a little bit uncertain, but I actually think it's a great thing. Yes, of course, all of the warnings that we get about retrograde, being careful with communication, possibly having some delays in travel or issues with technology, yes, they hold true. But some of the often overlooked benefits are that at its core, it's transformative and it's very revealing. If there's something you need to see, retrograde's going to bring it to your attention. And if it's brought to your attention, you have a chance to change your course and hopefully affect your destiny. That's why we show up every month, right? So in essence, it's a powerful period that you can choose to either sort of embrace or be a little bit afraid of. We're all about empowerment here, so I'm gonna help you embrace the energy. We'll get into all of this plus the forecast in a minute, but first and foremost, I'd like to just say hello and introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support and most importantly for working on yourself. That's why I show up every month. If you're brand new, really nice to meet you. And let me tell you a little bit about how I organize the reading so you know what to expect. Every month, I like to start off with some channeled information. This is when I just connect straight with intuition and I will share with you whatever I'm seeing, feeling, or hearing. After that, we'll go a lot deeper and look at the cards and pull a full Celtic Cross plus an expanded forecast. The Celtic Cross is going to naturally show all of the high points and all of the challenges in the month. The expanded forecast is going to focus on health, wealth, love, and destiny. Now, if you like what you see here, and I certainly hope you do, please stick around until the very end. At that point, not only will I give you a quick overview of everything that we talked about, but I'll also leave you with a closing word. That'll be accompanied by some information on how you can give back, which includes everything from liking and subscribing, joining me on social media, possibly booking an appointment if you want to talk a little bit more about something that was covered here or something going on in your life, becoming a patron and doing either a one-time contribution or something that's ongoing, and finally, of course, just sharing this on your social media feed. I'll get into this in great depth at the end of the video, but I know you want to hear about the forecasts, so let's get straight into the channeled information for the month of November. All right, Gemini, this month as I selected a deck of cards and I began to meditate on your sign, what I felt was this surge of energy coming through the heart space. With my eyes closed, I focused on that and it reminded me a lot of the star card. I just kept seeing this brilliant light, these rays shining out, and then I focused on looking at just one ray of light. And I felt as if you're either going to be put in a position where you'll just really shine brightly, or the spotlight might be shining on you and you might be asked to step up. So we'll start first with the opportunity where you're kind of stepping out. If you've been working really hard and you've been looking for a time to be bold, to try something new, to present an idea or a part of yourself or something in your life for approval, for consideration, this is a good month to do that. Particularly if you had trouble getting approval or acceptance or being noticed before. One of the great things, I was mentioning this earlier about retrograde, is it's a time for revealing, but it's also a time for second chances. So this is something where if you feel like you have to do something one more time before you can put it to rest, absolutely do it right now. Retrograde typically isn't a time when you want to start something new, but it's absolutely the perfect time to try something again. Revisions and repeating and trying to kind of go in there and get the perfect mix, this is exactly what this period kind of excels at. So I would say take a chance this month and really try something again and let go of whatever didn't work before, because that was the past. You're seeing things with a new light this month too. That's also why I was seeing the star card. So for those of you that are in entertainment, that are looking to launch a business, that are looking to try to get a promotion or just want to be noticed, it's a good month for you. Now, there's another kind of energy that's associated with what I was seeing, and that's sort of like the spotlight shining on you. And this could be uncomfortable for some of you because you may not be expecting it. So you could be put on the spot. You could also be challenged by someone too who either is trying to get you out of the spotlight or wants to see if you're serious about something. So whether you're ready or not, I kind of feel like there is this energy that wants to put you out there, and you have a chance to grow, to see something from a different angle, and I really think you should try to embrace whatever this spotlight opportunity is. So some of you may shine and get onto something bigger and brighter. Some of you may be you'll either be revealed as a key component to a partnership, or you're going to see someone for their true colors. But I just see light, visibility, and clarity coming from this experience, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's unexpected. So nothing really negative about that. Just be ready, be flexible, and if you're challenged or put on the spot, try to roll with the punches and just think, well, this is what Nicholas was talking about, I'm just going to go with it. And don't judge yourself too much, because I feel like everything's been aligned for those people that are kind of in that situation. The other thing that I saw in my mind's eye was sort of like metal chain links that were kind of being one by one built. So to me, this would be sort of like what would be holding chains that would be holding something together, not like a necklace, and not sort of anything that's kind of restraining you. It just felt to me like something that would be strong. And what I got from this was that you would be putting together like a network. That's the word that came to me. But it's one link at a time, and you're taking your time to find the right people that are strong enough, because that old saying, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link. This month, I feel like you're going to be very discerning, very picky, very particular about who you're letting in. But because you have that star energy and that star quality that I'm picking up on, this is a really good time to seek out other people, because you're going to be in a sort of energy space that is attractive and is also going to pull in people of a high frequency as well. So what I captured in automatic writing is that many of you are going to have some networking opportunities coming up. Some of this is because of your star quality, but it also might be sort of a situation that arises at work, or that you're sort of thrust into because your guides, because your higher self, because the karma that you've built now has put you in this point where you're going to have a chance to learn something about yourself, someone else, or surprise yourself or surprise people around you. Nothing negative about this. It's just more visibility than maybe you were used to, or visibility coming at a time when you might otherwise want to recede. I'm challenging you to step up and to kind of show your colors, okay? At the very least this month, make sure that you're getting out there professionally, personally, socially, because it's a good time to be seen and it's a great time to meet people, okay? Let's move along now to the Celtic Cross and see what additional insights the cards have to yield. As you know, I like to remain quiet at this point. I'm going to pull the full Celtic Cross, also all of the expanded cards, but afterwards I will rejoin you and we'll talk about each and every one and how it relates to you and the month ahead. As I look at your Catalyst card this month, I really feel like this has a lot to do with the networking message that I got, or that connecting with other people. You see the simplicity message here that's reversed. To me, when you really find a friend, a loved one, a partner that you connect with, it's easy. Have you ever had that feeling when you first meet someone that you just know you're going to be friends? Or have you ever spent time with someone where it just doesn't take a lot of work? one of the messages that's coming through this month is to really seek out that simplicity. If something is too complicated, if it's too messy, if it feels like you're constantly kind of forcing something to work, let those relationships sort of go to the side this month and really focus on the ones that bring you a sense of calm, of ease, and that you feel like there's just a constant sort of flow, reciprocity between the two of you. That simplicity is not only going to kind of equal out your energy and allow you to focus and really sort of balance everything out, but it's going to be really good for you as well. Sometimes I think we're seeking out teachers rather than someone in our life that can just celebrate our success and be there to help us. And I think that this month is a chance for you to seek out partnerships instead of teaching situations, particularly when it comes to friends, lovers, and intimate sort of connections in your life. Allow that energy to feel like it's easy. That's going to be your sort of like North Star, your compass that helps you decide, is this the right person? Is this the right situation? Should I say yes to this invitation? Allow that sense of ease within you to kind of help you say yes when that comes through. And then don't hesitate, because when you find those people in your life where it just feels easy, then that's magic. I can kind of count on 2 or 3 fingers the amount of people in my life that I've met where I think you're going to be a lifelong friend. And I still keep in touch with those people. So just know that your intuition will lead you in the right direction this month. Likewise, if something is way too complicated, know that it is not your job to fix people, fix situations, or solve everything for everyone. Unless they're paying you for that, you don't really want to seek that out with relationships this month, okay? So again, to me, this is absolutely connected to the chain link image that I was seeing, which I also assigned to relationships. They should be firm, they should be strong, they should also have this sense of being easy. And you know, if you need something, they're there for you. If they need something, you're there for them. Reciprocity is the name of the game. All right, let's take a look at everything else, and I'll eventually go back to that simplification card. Obviously, since we're in a retrograde, I think the other thing would be to not take on too much. We talked about the opportunity to see things that you need to see, to have a second chance at things. I also think retrograde is about letting go. So one final thing before I move on to the center card. If there's anything in your life that feels like it's part of a past chapter, maybe you're holding on to things from school or from an old relationship or an old job, this is a month where you could donate that to charity, recycle it, or just get rid of it somehow, some way, because this is going to allow you to have a nice clean slate and really begin to set into motion new habits, new opportunities, new relationships. All right, your center card is the Ace of Swords. Now, I love the Ace of Swords because it's all about bringing action into your life. It's about being vocal. This card is reversed though. So one thing that is coming through is that your patience may be tried a little bit at the beginning of the month, especially with respect to how quickly or how slowly, as the case may be, things are happening. So take a look at why perhaps some of the delays are happening. Is it because you need to take a closer look at some of the details? Is it because the opportunity that you're trying to create may not be the right one, or the person attached to it may not be the right person? Take a step back and see the delay as a blessing. Figure out what it is that you're trying to be drawn to look at. And then once you pay attention to that, I feel like things will speed up before you know it. So patience is key. And one of the things that's going to help you with that is we have a card here that normally is just the Hierophant. In this particular one, it's about faith. Have faith in the system, because the Hierophant card is about hierarchy. It's about having multiple levels of approval sometimes. I see it as a corporation or a business or a very sort of rigid card. So know that sometimes these barriers are put in place to protect you. So all of the delays that are coming through, all of the situations that you have to get signatures for and approvals for, that is there to make sure that you don't make a misstep. And when you start to see everything kind of happening for your benefit, you won't feel like you're losing control, that things are dragging. What I would invite you to do instead, because we still have a very active card with the Ace of Swords here, is to ask questions. Ace of Swords reversed is about speaking up, being critical, being constructive about things. And so you could say, help me understand how this works. Is there anything I could do better? You could actually invite critique or bring in advice to improve yourself or improve the process. You could also ask people if they're open to a new way to do something, because we have that critical card and then it's crossed by a very sort of rigid card. So you can affect the process, but you have to be creative, you have to be open, and you have to be respectful of perhaps why that process was in place. So you have more power than you think, but you have to understand what's going on, empathize with people, and kind of get the big picture of what's going on in order to really activate that power, okay? Ultimately, that card at the center, though, was one of communication, of things starting to happen, and being able to speak your mind. So all of that energy exists, even if it takes a little longer than you think. As we look at the deep past, we have a very strong card for manifestation, psychic awakening, creativity, and just intuitive knowledge. I love the High Priestess. I love that it's in your deep past. This actually is underlining and supporting what I was just talking about, which is you have power to really mold things, shape things, and do it in a subtle way, maybe even a little bit subversive, but that's actually your friend, because this persuasive management or this ability to help people even kind of own some of the things that you want to do, make them think it's their idea. You have this ability this month, which is amazing, especially if you want to make a change in the world, like politically, socially, or again, in a corporate structure. You have to get people invested in your vision. And that's what great leaders do, what great persuasive speakers do. They will help set up the situation and basically allow people to continue to think the way they do for a second and say, I understand what you're going through, and I know why we've done it this way before. But this is something that came to my attention, and like you, I was skeptical, yet I was able to go into this and see the validity in this. If you will, walk down this road with me, and you can kind of, by using that sort of an approach, you can open people up to a different point of view this month. And I think that's exciting. Don't underestimate your communication skills, your charisma, or that ability to, through empathy and truly showing people that you did the homework and you know what they want to do, you can actually bring them into a new way of thinking. This is what a great teacher does. This is what a great world leader can do. And anyone that wants to create a change or mold the world, you have that skill here. So I'm excited about that if you choose to embark upon that. Of course, the High Priestess is a marker for psychic and intuitive development. So it feels like some of you have been doing extra work to really bring that third eye opening into your life. Keep it up. It's going to continue through this month. And I would say with a retrograde period, you may see very, very vivid dreams. You may get increased intuition in places and in ways that you haven't felt it before. So maybe you'll open up to empathy in your body. You might feel certain sensations when you're talking to people. This is great stuff. So continue to meditate, and with that Faith card or the Hierophant card, as you go deeper into that and set up a routine, the universe knows how to support you and show up. So just know that that can continue through this month. We have the Six of Cups in the recent past. And what this is showing me is that many of you have worked really hard to create a sense of community around you. I see the Six of Cups, of course, it's associated with old friends, with children, but there's a playful energy and a very sort of trusting energy, an innocent energy that comes through it. So where your power sits this month is, again, in that simplicity that we were seeing here in the Catalyst, and just keeping things fun, easy, and flowing between you and others. Don't complicate it with getting too in the weeds of all of your requests for how people need to change, what they need to do. Start first with just understanding who they are, spending time with them. That's what the networking was about. So listen, whether it is your personal relationships in your life, your best friend, your partner who you're married to, or just family, if you're trying to see an improvement in those areas, what you need to do this month, what the cards are showing, is just to spend time with them and get to know them and have fun. This is a card of, it's kind of like being a brother, a sister, a best friend. It's hanging out. So spend some quality time with the people that you care about, especially if you're concerned about them or if you're going to be working with them and want to have this rapport. You have to put in the work. But anything that you decide to put in, when I see this sort of card, it shows that there'll be a return on that and that these people are going to be potentially lifelong friends or connections. So there's some great energy coming through so far this month. In your crowning position, we have the Ace of Cups. The card is reversed, which typically indicates that emotionally speaking, you may be feeling either a little sad, a little tapped out, or not maybe engaged completely with whatever's going on in your life. For some reason, you're not 100% engaged, and I think maybe it's time for, just a small break, a diversion, a vacation, something like that to hit the recharge button, because I think once you allow yourself time to reset, recharge, and sort of catch your breath, then you're going to be better able to handle a lot of these other relationship issues that are coming through. Now, it's interesting because in the crowning, we have the Ace of Cups. In the opportunity space, which can also be sometimes associated with fears, we have the Three of Cups reversed. And then we have the King of Cups also reversed in the outcome. So we had all these great cards, most of them upright, but now we see some reversals, and they all have to do with emotional state. Ace of Cups is how you feel and what you're looking for. Three of Cups is people around you and you kind of pulling back when it's reversed. And the King of Cups reversed can be another person in your life that could be the source of some of this fatigue. So I feel like many of you may be, I'm gonna say what I'm seeing in my head. You're dealing with someone who's taking too much of your energy and too much of your time. I don't feel like the depression's actually coming from you or this sense of anger or frustration. Your empathy is being tried. Sometimes this can be seen as sort of like a vacuum or a vampiric energy in your life. All that's necessary for you is to set some structure up for this. I don't see this person as being a bad person at all. I think that they're just taking what you'll give them. So say no a little bit more, push back a little bit more, and encourage them to find help, maybe even help them get the resource that they need. Someone in your life also could be attached to an addiction, because these two cards are, right on top of each other here. So the Three of Cups for me can show someone who can't sort of rein in, an addictive tendency or something that is harming themselves. So if you know someone in your life and they're kind of going down that path of gambling, alcohol, drugs, or just sort of in a habit in their life that isn't healthy, isn't sustainable, this is a time for you to speak up. I saw that spotlight energy that you have. You can also find a way of helping people see something that they couldn't. That persuasive energy that existed here in the deep past, it can be used for good in that particular instance. So that's something that you can think about. For those of you that are single and looking, I feel like there are multiple suitors that want to come through this month, but you have to kind of overcome this tendency to pull back. I mentioned that there was this star energy or this spotlight that wants to happen. There's people that will be ready to kind of like knock on your door, or there's social parties and engagements that are happening this month. But for some reason with the Three of Cups in reverse, it's kind of a hermiting energy. So I'm going to encourage you to not say no to everything. Eventually you need to get out there, but obviously practice self-care first. And then once you do that, a lot of opportunities exist. If you are partnered, this is about making sure that you can kind of sort out your energy from your partner's, because it could be your partner that is going through a tough time, but you also matter. And so make sure that both of you are getting the assistance that you need in that particular situation. I still feel like you can deepen the bond, but one thing that worries me with the Three of Cups is for some of you, there could be a third party that's coming in and trying to kind of drive a wedge. This could be a relative. It could also be someone that is interested in, kind of their own agenda, whether it's to cause trouble between the two of you, or maybe they're interested in one of you. So be careful and be aware of that. If you're single and happy, again, there's great networking opportunities, but you have to be ready for them in order to maximize them, okay? So there's a lot of energy around relationships, but you matter and you have to center yourself first. That's the constant message through all of them. When we look at near future, we have a great management card here in the Queen of Wands, but she's reversed. Whenever the reversal of that particular card exists here, I would say you have to keep an open mind. There's more than one way to do something. There's perhaps a differing opinion in the room or with someone that you care about, and the most important thing for them is to be listened to and acknowledged, even if you don't agree with them. So respect, open-mindedness, empathy. These things are going to be your friend this month. But guess what? You've got 2 reverse cards, and I want to honor them because Queen of Wands reverse and Ace of Swords reverse, they are about holding true to something that's important to you and speaking your mind. And then when we move along to your ego, you come through with that solid energy of the King of Swords upright. I feel like this is a wonderful card for your sign. It represents you, and it also shows all of the positive elements of being in control of your speaking voice and taking an opportunity and really leveraging it to your advantage. King of Swords is confident, outspoken, clear, and because the card is upright, you're not hurting people's feelings. You're just basically taking the reins and really moving forward. So if the beginning of the month is slow, I feel like the middle to the end picks up. And once you find your emotional grounding, then everything else follows suit. So take care of you and yourself first. Then you're going to be able to embody this really strong energy of the King of Swords. This is fantastic for contract negotiation, for writing, for communication, and really just being able to win an argument or win a court case. It can indicate even a lawyer for some of you too. So what I like about this is despite being in a retrograde period, this is showing strength in communication. Timing is important. Having all your sort of ducks in a row is important here, especially the emotional stuff, but you're gonna be able to manage this month. I feel good about you. As I look at your environment card, the first thing that I was drawn to was the 2 sort of conflicting court cards here. We have the Page of Wands, which is the delivery and receipt of information, particularly when we're looking at being able to understand something, but it can also be a position of power or, like I said, management. So we have potentially here a very young or inexperienced manager, and we have an older person here. And what I'm seeing is that some of you may be in a situation where you have a young boss or an inexperienced boss, maybe someone that's new. They may even be the same age as you, but they may not have the same experience as you. This person in the environment could be tricky for you to deal with because what I'm seeing is that some of you have a lot more life experience and maybe even a lot more educational experience. For some reason, some of you are in a situation where the tables are sort of turned and you're having to answer to someone that doesn't quite know what they're doing or can't understand your point of view. So this is where the challenge is going to be in sort of helping them, again, understand why you might have some really important insights without pulling rank, without pulling age, without making them feel uncomfortable or inferior, because if you were to put yourself in their shoes, that's not a fun place to be either. Now, of course, this could be, the flip side could be true, where you're that person stepping into a new job, stepping into a new situation, and you feel like there's a clique that you're trying to break into, because the 3 of Cups can be a clique. And so if that's the case, you don't have to prove yourself overnight. And in fact, sometimes it's better to be strong and to let them know that things have changed. You're the new person in town, and that if you are a boss in that situation, that they need to understand that you're part of this group now too. And so stay strong, stay firm, be a voice of reason, and know that eventually they'll come around, because I feel like they will. So that's some interesting dynamics for some of you. Try not to, again, pull rank. Try not to make the other party feel uncomfortable. Know that in time, I feel like there's a little bit of a dance. That's what I'm seeing. You'll figure out how to work with each other, okay? Now, just the page in and of itself tells me that some of you may have a chance for a new job, a new idea, some new endeavor in your life. And it seems a lot more mature than an ace card, so I like that. Go with it if it's something that you want to explore. Now to look at the relationships here. There's a couple of different relationships that are coming through, and I feel like for some of you this is something where there's too many people. And you know what we were seeing here? Things need to be simplified a little bit. So if there's a friendship situation, we'll take it at its most simplest form. Perhaps you're kind of in the middle of this argument that could be existing between 2 friends, or there's a work situation and someone's trying to pull you in to help them win over somebody. I would say, unless you really feel like you need to fight this fight, let other people battle that out. Don't get involved in other people's business. And I think most importantly, if you're going to start dating someone, or if you're interested in a long-term relationship, make sure that that person is free. Because the 3 of Cups, or make sure that you have the same sort of expectations of a relationship. The 3 of Cups is very non-committal to me. The reversal of this could show that one party wants a little bit more than the other, and so I feel like there's a casual dating situation that could be presenting itself for some of you this month, and as long as you both are interested in something casual, perfect. But if you want something longer term, I'm not necessarily seeing that for people that are single and looking. If you're in an existing relationship, the Three of Cups can be an invitation for the two of you to try to spend more time together, improve your intimacy, because this can sometimes indicate that the other person feels like they're alone and they might want to seek love and affection outside of the marriage or the relationship. So you have to fix something in the expectation of commitment. And for those of you that are in a committed relationship, make sure that that partner and you are on the same page. And you don't have, I don't think you have to worry just yet. That card is reversed and it's in the fear and opportunity space. So it's more about making sure that you're really connecting with how you feel, how they feel, and that the two of you have the same expectations for what's going on in the relationship. Communication's key. That's why the King of Swords is here. That's why we also had the Ace of Swords in reverse. You could be asking, simply put, what are you looking for? And if it's if it's an existing relationship, it seems to me that somebody is acting in a way that is not normal for them. And I think that there's something going on emotionally, and you really want to get to the core of that. The behavior is really kind of just a reaction to something that is more internalized. Once you show that you're there, that you're supporting them, that you care about them, I feel like they're going to open up, and that's actually going to create the intimacy and the trust that is so important to any type of relationship, really. Let's go ahead and expand the forecast, and I feel like we'll get a lot more clarity on everything that we just talked about. We're going to look now at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's go ahead now and take a look at health. Health is mind, body, and spirit, and the message this month has to do again with emotions. We have a relationship card reversed. The prayer at the bottom is actually asking Archangel Raphael to help with healing and bringing love in the relationships. So I want you to kind of break apart all the different types of relationships. The first and most important one is how you feel about yourself. If we look back at the center here, this can be negative communication or negative thoughts. This can also be a parental figure, usually a father or someone that has a lot of paternal energy. If you're faced with a family situation, a work situation, or a mentor situation where you feel kind of pressured into doing something or being something that you're not, this is where you have to kind of break free and find that personal liberation, that freedom to do what you want, be who you want, and especially if that means that who you love doesn't match up with what other people think you should be doing in your life. You have to be able to express yourself. So love yourself, know that you're enough, know that it's okay to do what makes you happy and be with whomever you want to be. It feels like there's a little bit of breaking free that needs to happen there. So again, essentially it begins with self-confidence. So if somebody's taught you that you're less than, then you have to believe that you are not. You are equal or greater than. And that's the first thing that comes through. The other type of relationship doesn't have to be a lover relationship in your life or a partner relationship. It can be brother, sister, or best friend, and that's what the Six of Cups is. So healing those old family relationships in your life, or those best friend relationships, or anything that has to do with a really intimate, I would say non-sexual, non-marital partner, those need to be healthy as well. And then of course, ultimately figuring out where you stand sort of on wanting to be in or out of a relationship. Because it's interesting, when we look at wealth, we have a contract card, but it's touching love. And I also see here a non-commitment card. So it feels like you could be in a relationship or a contract or some sort of situation where one of the partners wants to exit, or you're not sure if you want to stay together. So this is why, again, counseling, getting another point of view, or just really figuring out where you stand is going to be important. I think that your emotional stability, your emotional state of mind, and your relationship status or health is going to be probably the most important thing that you can focus on grounding if you feel like it's off, okay? For those of you that are waiting for love to come in, I see that there is love that is available here with the Three of Cups. But again, you have to heal yourself first. So once you've done that, everything falls into place. If you're feeling happy, then one thing that I'm seeing here is that there's a lot of energy that wants to be expressed. So are you kind of holding back a little bit? Because this faith card, or the Hierophant card, has to do with kind of reining in. I feel like some sort of expression this month is going to be good. Whether you express your love, whether you express yourself creatively, the passion needs an outlet. And if you do that, I feel like no matter where you're at, you're going to be in a better place. Moving along now to wealth, we have a contract card. So with respect to relationships, before we get off of that, if you're thinking of getting married, definitely look at making sure that you have the same goals, and maybe look at a prenuptial, especially since we see the Three of Cups in hopes and fears. Some of you may have had an experience in the past where someone just didn't tell you the truth, or there was a third party, or you wanted to exit from a relationship, and now you realize the importance of having some sort of a contract in place for how to dissolve the contract. I think it's really healthy, and all partners should kind of talk about goals and also protecting themselves. And if the person loves you and you love them, you're going to be able to have this healthy conversation and put everything together. This is just as important as kind of putting in place some sort of a will or a trust. So for those of you that are getting into a relationship, really look at what that entails and look at the contract details of that. Now looking more at a traditional view of wealth, this could mean starting a new job. You could be creating a company. There might be a legal contract that needs to be thought out this month. This is also very kind of symbolic of justice here as I look at her with the scales. So some of you might be balancing out the pros and cons. Should I stay? Should I leave? Should I try something new? Just get all the information in front of you. The fact that we saw all of these emotional cards reversed, the Ace of Cups in the crowning position, Three of Cups in hopes and fears, and then the King of Cups in the outcome, means that you probably should not move solely based on emotions. You need to look at facts. You need to kind of plan out the long term. This is why things are slowing down a little bit. And I feel like if there is a delay, it's so that you can work through that emotional stuff that you need to, so that you can make a sound, balanced decision. So if you can delay contracts until after retrograde, really like the last week of the month, it would be ideal, okay? Looking now at love, even though we've had a lot of interesting cards here that are already about relationships here. The health card was really speaking about love. The wealth card could also have to do with marriages, divorces, or a contract or a partnership. Now we're specifically looking at love, and it's about reciprocity. It's reversed, giving and receiving, but ultimately that is showing that everybody is on the same page, is getting what they put into this situation, and it feels very comfortable. Remember what I said earlier about the simplicity card? This was also reversed. We need this to be easy and straightforward. If you're not getting what you're investing, it's not a good investment. There needs to be some sort of give and take. I think one thing that you can do this month is set up expectations, and this is what we saw here with the Ace of Swords at the center. Ask a question if you're not clear about something. Put into writing something if you need it. And also hold people accountable if they said they were going to do something. This is about balancing it all out, because right underneath it is this contract card. So definitely holding people accountable to what they said they would do. And I think this also falls into place with the relationship card. So with the health card, which has to do with relationships. So this month, everything has to be ebbing and flowing with the people in your life. It's all about the people, which is why I think I was picking up on networking and those links, those chains. They have to be strong. If they're not, they're going to break, and that's going to allow you to form a connection with people that you truly can trust. So know this, if anybody falls out, I think some of it has to do with the fact that you are starting to go higher in your frequency. When we shine brighter, people either have to meet us at that frequency or they fall out. They kind of supernova, but we're going to be left. So just know that that's what's happening this month. There's an adjustment going on where some of these people are kind of falling out of view. And if that happens, it's okay, because as we look at your destiny card, it's inspiration here. And your future, what you're creating, and that's really what destiny is. It's one that's in flux. It's something that is up to you. And we see that it's actually all of the stuff that's coming through your passion and your imagination that's going to forge the future for you. So all this stuff that's going on right now, it's just here and now. My question for you, especially as I'm looking at this, is do you feel really connected to the things that are going on in your life at the moment? With those cards reversed that are all emotional, the Ace of Cups, Three of Cups, and King of Cups, it feels like some of you are just looking for something that brings you more passion, more excitement in your life. And if that's the case, by all means, go after whatever that is. Don't let people push you down or hold you back from that path. It doesn't matter how wild or crazy it is. We came to this planet to experience things. And the only great disappointment is if you don't get a chance to do something that your soul really wants to do, okay? I'm going to mention a couple things. A lot of times people ask me about who will be coming in. There are a couple of personalities this month. I want to hit on that before we go into the review here. So if you are looking for love this month, there are potential partners that I see. One at the midpoint, a Queen of Wands energy. The only thing that I'll say about this is it's a little bit bossy, it's a little bit pushy. Make sure that that's what you're looking for in your life. There's nothing bad about this. There's a lot of fire with a fire sign. But I will say that this person may be close to certain points of view. And if you're someone that likes to be led or likes someone to take charge, this might be your type of person. If you have a strong personality, you may kind of clash with this particular type of energy. This one seems a little bit more connected to you. There's a very mature air sign that's coming through with whom I think you could talk about anything. And for those of you that are really looking for a soulmate that you could just, again, talk about your hopes, your fears, your dreams, there could be a lot of transparency with, that's this person. This one seems like they have a little bit more spark when we're looking at sort of romance and affection. This one seems like you could have a really firm foundation with them. So it depends on how much passion you're looking for with these two. And then I'm seeing a sort of younger energy as well coming through. So there's a lot of different types of people. I feel like the King of Cups is already existing in your life. And this King of Cups energy reversed is someone who is taking more than they're giving. And that's what we're seeing here with all the reciprocity cards. So I want to make sure that however much you love this person, that it's worth the investment, okay? So there's no lack of available energies for you, but I think that the first thing you have to do is clean up your emotions, and then whoever this person is for some of you that, whether it's a relative that you're taking care of, a child that you're taking care of, a coworker, someone in your life is pulling too much. So once you kind of turn off that nozzle a little bit, then some of these other things will open up. But I feel like that person could be a block. If you ask me at the end of the month, like, why didn't these people come through? It could be because there's somebody in your life that really is just taking too much. And if there's not that third party, it's because you need to take care of yourself. If we're constantly looking to others to complete ourselves, then we're not really actually ready for a relationship. So work on yourself, create healthy limits with others, and then maybe you have 2 to 3 people coming in that could be a good match for you. But again, I feel like it all starts internally. So do that work on yourself, and then good luck with working with these available energies. If you're already in a relationship, we talked about how this relates to you. I just wanted to spotlight for a moment anybody that is single and looking, okay? Let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with your closing word. The channeled message this month was all about being able to network, to create stronger bonds and relationships. And for many of you, there's going to be a chance to stand out or to step up, because that spotlight situation may be one that surprises you. Enjoy it when it comes through, because things like this don't always happen, and I feel like this could be a really important lesson for you or for others. They'll see you in a different way when you have that chance to really show your true colors. It's also sort of a revelation or a revealing moment where you're going to learn about who's really happy for you, who can be there and champion your success, and who may have a hard time sort of being in that new energy. Because I mentioned, as you step up, as your energy starts to go to a new frequency, some people may fall away. The most important thing that we saw here in the Catalyst card was not to overcomplicate things. The Simplicity card was reversed, so that's showing that for you this month, the litmus test to how much time, how much energy you should spend with someone is, how complicated are things? How much are they giving back? This should be easy. And one thing that we saw here with that sort of ease was the Six of Cups. If thinking back to when you used to have a friend as a kid and you knew at the very first meeting that you were going to be lifelong connections, lifelong friends. There should be that sense of innocence, of being able to just be there for each other, almost a brother, sister, or best friend energy. If you have that kind of person in your life this month, that's who I would spend the time with. If you're meeting new people, see if you can kind of pick up on how much work it's going to take to kind of connect with them. If it's too much, it might be a chance to sort of reevaluate that. The center card was a reminder that you'll have to have a little patience at the beginning of the month. It's also a subtle nudge to not be too critical of yourself. Crossing the center card, we have the Hierophant or Faith card here. Part of this has to do with having faith in the system and trusting that the process is there to help you. But if there's someone in your life that is too strict, these two cards are in conflict, and this is actually an encouragement for you to kind of like break out of that system. So you'll have to look in how it sort of relates to your context, but either way, I feel like you can work through it because we have the High Priestess here in the Deep Past showing the ability to manifest, to empathize, and also to kind of be able to mold the environment around you. So know that you have a direct effect on how your world looks right now. You have to kind of own that energy. Your intuition is picking up. You're going to notice a lot more, especially since we're in a retrograde right now. So pay attention to the signs and symbols you receive. Six of Cups. An old friend could be coming back into your life. You could be meeting someone that could have a really deep relationship with you because Six of Cups is one of best friends, lovers, and soulmates. So I like that energy. Spend time with that person if they come through. Heal yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you are emotionally in a place that feels healthy for you before you engage in any other sort of relationship in your life. That self-relationship is the most important one. As we look at near future here, Queen of Wands showing you that you should really take the reins this month, but when it comes to working with others, you are going to have to try to keep an open mind. When it's important though, especially if it's your personal safety or an idea that you really want to defend, then speak up, ask questions, and use that Queen of Wands energy to get what you need. Despite being in a retrograde, your communication skills are actually off the charts this month. And I feel like when you're really able to stick to the facts, to speak with reason, and to really use that emotional empathy that you have this month to understand what people want and need, you're going to be able to be a very convincing public speaker. And if anybody does need to go to court or somehow sign a contract, this is showing that you're going to be able to hold your ground. So I'm feeling pretty good about your communication skills this month, I have to say. We mentioned that for many of you, there could be a new project, a new idea that's coming through. This can also indicate a little bit of a battle that's going on between some of you, between a coworker, a boss, or even a friend, where there's something about either the title or the responsibility and how much experience that person has that's making this uncomfortable. So do your best to navigate it, and I feel like at the end of the day, you have these cards working in your favor. You know what you need, and you have the ability to use your speaking skills to your advantage. So that's my advice, is to kind of lean on that. As we look at hopes and fears, we have the Three of Cups. Because this is in an ambiguous area, so it's more about fears or it's more about things that could be, you know, for those of you that are worrying about commitment or if someone's committed to you, I think you just have to have a heart-to-heart conversation and talk about things. Don't make assumptions this month. It could be dangerous. The Three of Cups is also just showing that you could be exhibiting some hermiting energy, wanting to kind of keep to yourself. I think that makes sense while you're trying to figure out where you're at emotionally, but ultimately remember that networking is going to open up some really great opportunities, and you don't want to stay in that space too long. If there's someone in your life that's taking too much, you just have to have some healthy limits this month. And if you're looking for love, then once you know who you are, what you want, and you're happy with your life, there's a lot of partners and available energy that wants to come in, but you have to do the healing first. That's what we see here in health. It's all about relationship, health, starting again with yourself. And with the Three of Cups reversed, there's just a gentle nudge to not overdo anything that might be perceived as a vice, whether it's eating or drugs or any kind of vice that you would kind of lean on to feel better. This is saying moderation is your friend, and try to be as clear and clean as possible. In wealth, we have the contract card, which can show a new job, perhaps splitting from a job. It can also indicate a change in relationship status. So whether you're getting married, getting divorced, or looking at a prenuptial, contracts are essential this month. Really pay attention to the small details, the fine print. It's going to be really important. When we look at love, reciprocity was the name of the game. We have giving and receiving, but it was reversed. And when we looked again at that outcome card, some of you are simply not getting what you need. So whatever it is, whether it's work or your relationships, just make sure you're getting the balance that's necessary and the reciprocity that's necessary. Finally, and most important, we have inspiration here. Again, reverse. So some of you may be missing some sort of a big opportunity in your life. And this is saying, think bigger, allow yourself to really go that extra mile, shine and do whatever it is that you want to do, because that was what we saw way back at the beginning. This is your chance to really step into your power and surprise people in your life, yourself included. So this brings your monthly reading to a close. I hope you got everything that you needed today in respect to all of the challenges and, more importantly, all the opportunities that are in front of you for the month ahead. If you ever feel like you want to talk a little bit more, either about something that I covered here, or if there's something unique that you're going through and you'd like some additional insight on that, feel free to reach out to me. You can take a look at my booking site by clicking on the first card or first link, and from that link you'll be able to see rates and availability, and if that makes sense for you, then I look forward to chatting with you soon. Otherwise, if you'd just like to say thank you and lend some support to this channel, I mentioned earlier that everything here is viewer and fan supported. The way that you can get involved and give back is by clicking on the second card or the second link. This will take you to a page on my website where it talks about becoming a patron, and there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different levels that you can explore here. So whether you make a one-time contribution or you do a continuing contribution through either Patreon or here on YouTube through the join button, just know that it makes a big difference in allowing me to have all the supplies that I need, keep the equipment up to date, and also just put the time on my calendar to make the best videos possible. So for anybody who's done this in the past, thank you so much. Today is a direct result of your contribution and your generosity, and if you've been thinking about doing it for the next round, I'd just like to say thank you in advance. Finally, if you really enjoyed what you saw here and you'd just like to share it with others, if you click on the third card or third link, this will connect you to a page on my website where you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can also get my newsletter, by the way. And from those links, you can then share this with other people. Sharing it on your feed really helps me, actually, because my goal here is to not only have intelligent conversations about spirituality, but hopefully kind of pass on the torch and help everybody find their own intuitive gifts and skills and share that with others. So whenever you do share this, you help me with some of my planetary goals, and I appreciate that. Also, if you haven't already done it, please like and subscribe. That way you're gonna know when new videos are posted. All right, with that being said, I wanna leave you with your closing word this month. And one thing that I'm looking at here is that you have so much love and support that wants to come into your life. You have a chance to be picky this month. So don't be afraid to really put out to the universe what it is you're looking for insofar as relationships, partnerships, and opportunities. Because I feel like you have a lot to offer the world. You've worked on yourself quite a bit. You have amazing communication skills. You have really good ideas. And what's important now is that it falls into the right hands, people that you trust. Really hold out for this Six of Cups energy that I see here, and you can do that by exhibiting that love, that light, that joy, and that ease in your own life. Remember, simplicity is best this month. So if you can uncomplicate things when it comes to relationships, your goals, your passions, that's going to help other people read you and know what you need and want. If you don't have that piece figured out, then meditate a bit and work on yourself and really figure out what it is you want in life. The sooner you know that, the sooner the universe can come through and give it to you, okay? Thank you again for choosing to spend this time with me. You have so many choices here on YouTube and also in life that means a lot, and it humbles me. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have an amazing November. I'll see you next month.